I mean, in a try-hard tournament, I think if Kislev is up, both players are going to play it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
At top
Oof.
8. I mean, I might not play them, but that's more of because they've been banned for so long. I don't really remember how. So it's like, doesn't matter how strong the faction
Same.
is. If I don't remember how it works, I'm not going to use it well.
Same. And don't worry because I just avoid like top tier factions and just play for shit factions like ogres, like a C tier faction
I
on a
think
certain tier list.
I think they're better.
Yeah.
So hold on. It's like, doesn't matter
One
how strong the
second.
faction is. If I don't remember how it works.
Oh
I'm not
wait,
gonna
you started
use
the
it
stream
well.
already?
Just did.
Same. All right. And
Right.
don't worry
Cool,
because
cool.
I just
Okay, our audio levels are good. I was just comparing you versus
Alright,
me on
gotcha.
the stream.
gotcha.
So yeah, it's good. We are good. We are here. Our first best of 5 is ready to go. So let's keep this introduction nice and short. You all know who I am. It is I, the Hummus Rat, and we are in the top 8. A week from yesterday, Saturday, July 20th, we will be on the Total War official channel casting the top 4. We already have our top side of that top 4, Alfredino and Tim the Wilder. But we are here to figure out today who will be joining them on the bottom bracket. Sir Groot versus Segos and Sipa versus Stingers. And accompanying me here today is the wonderful Tactical Lich. Say hello, sir.
Hello everyone, Tactical Lich here, and it's very nice to be here on the quarterfinals, right? Of the Warpstone Cup, and yeah, let's see what happens today. Here we have some really strong players in the mix, and yeah.
All right, I'm just telling the players we are good to go, and I accidentally sent that to you, so now I'll
All right.
actually send it to the players instead of
All
just
right.
telling you.
I'm just gonna click ready right here. Oh wait, no, I can't click it. I'm not even the host.
You can't do it.
Yeah. No. No.
I have the thing set where it says at Tactical Lich, and sometimes you can click it, but sometimes you can't. Lich also posted his channel.
I don't think I can pin that actually, or do I
pinned it.
have?
I got it.
No, all right. Thank you very much. I can only ban people, but not pin messages. Yeah.
So we get loaded into the first best of 5. Who are you? For people who don't know, what's your channel? What do you do?
All right. So basically, I do a bunch of Total Warhammer focused content. Of course, many of you guys probably already know. I do a bunch of replay casting. Occasionally post shitty memes. Shit posting quite a bit there, and yeah, and occasionally stream tournaments as well. Usually stream on Wednesday for tournaments, so if you want to join my tournaments, do join the Night Crew Clan Discord, or I post a bunch of stuff on Human Boys Discord as well, so you can find those challenge links over there as well if you want to do like shitty meme tournaments. But yeah, that's all for now. Let's just go back to the tournament and check out the factions of this first battle on the best of 5. We have Beastmen and Dark Elves, yeah?
The best of 5, to keep load times short in the lobbies, we did have the players do their picks and bans in the week before, and they've also been training the matchups. So the 5 games today, if it goes all 5 games from these two, will be Dark Elves versus Beastmen, Grand Cathay versus Dwarves, Dwarves versus Lizardmen, Lizardmen versus Warriors of Chaos, and then Beastmen versus Demons of Chaos.
That is some interesting matchups I'm seeing here. Like, Dark Elves versus Beastmen is a matchup I've seen like tons and tons of time. It's always these two for some reason. Not sure why. I guess both sides tend to think they're evenly matched. But I do have a bit more success with Beastmen in this matchup than Dark Elves in this matchup. Although that's partly because I don't play our Dark Elves that much, perhaps. What do you think, Human Boy?
I think it's Beastmen favored. Centaurs can trade up into any Dark Elf mobility, and then Traderkin can keep their Lord more honest, where like normally a Soul Stealer Dragoncaster can just get up in the sky and stay safe, but Traderkin can chase them even when they're in the sky, and like if you overcommit on engagement, take too much damage, then Soul Stealer won't be able to out-heal Traderkin, so it'll just keep pushing him down.
We do have Malekith here, though. He does have a bit more tankiness than your than your typical Soul Stealer Sorceress, a bit more physical resistance. So maybe we'll see him do a little bit better against the throwing axes and whatnot. Though I do see quite a bit of great weapons Zandagors today. Not Zandagors, yeah. These are Zandagors, of course, very typical. And yeah, they are just gonna wreck those Dark Elf mobility if they have a chance. Though I don't see a lot of mobility on the Dark Elf side. Oh, they're going boxing with a bunch of Black Aquasair's handbows. Interesting choice.
Well, since you're already diving into the Dark Elf build, you just want to take it from there. What are the Dark Elves
Alright,
bringing?
sure. Sure, that's a ton of Bleak Swords and Dread Spears, as usual. Just going for a sheer amount of infantry and try to deal with the Beastmen rush. And then in the core, we have a few Black Aquasaurs with handbows. Very nice choice there. They should survive quite fine if there are any harpies, but there's no harpies here, so that's not a big factor. They are more wary of like the Zandagors charging into them instead. A couple Dark Riders with shields, providing a bit more mass and speed, and a few more harpies. One of them, the Crows of Cain in the skies. Malakath leading an army with not just Soul Stealer, but also Chillwind and the usual Gaze of Malice. Do you want to do the Beastman build then, Human Boy?
Yeah. I like the Chillwind tech. It does apply Frostbite, so you could slow down Centaurs if they're in a bad situation, get a rear charge on them, I guess. But, like, it is a neat little tech piece. For the Beastmen, you have your standard Centaur core. Centaurs of Tzeentch for a little bit of armor piercing. Regular Centaurs just for, bodies. And then some throwing axes. It's the usual 3. All of them are very, very good. A couple Ungor Spearman herds and Ungor herds regular for a bit of chaff. Malagor, the new favorite Beastman Lord these days, his Flock of Doom has been rather potent, and he's just cheap, fast, up in the sky, nice and safe. No real problems with Malagor over, like, Torox. Torox is still okay in some matchups, but I feel like the Doom Bull has been outshining him recently, because people really like the cheaper price point and the, what is that, dazed effect, so you can lower melee defense. Also, the Butchers of Kaldengard, another staple for some mass arm piercing, but their regeneration is usually the reason people take them, plus cheap terror. And we do have the Jabberslythe, which will be difficult for Sir Groot's box build if we get some good side charges on it down those thin ranks of Dark Elf infantry. That'll be brutal.
The most brutal thing really is the upgraded Flock of Doom here. Do you see all the damage?
That's
done
actually
to the up Dark Elves.
That's so much damage. It's 700 damage value to start the game.
Oh god.
Oh boy.
And the Crows of Cain didn't take any damage from there, so these aren't damage that the Dark Elves can heal up. It's just brutal. Oof.
Yeah. We were talking about
Malakath
Flock of
didn't take
Doom
anything.
on the stream yesterday, and I think that's a good example of where it is so strong. It's just like, it's cheap, and it can do a lot of damage against blobs, so it's like, it forces your opponent to spread out, which for the Beastmen, if you spread out and they can find those gaps and really like fly in between them, it's like, well, if you spread out, Centaurs will destroy you, and if you don't spread out, Flock of Doom's coming for you. So.
Speaking of Flock of Doom, here's another one. This one's a regular cast, but the damage is still very good. That's like, what, 4 units being hit?
Yeah.
And it's not like Sir Groot can split up his box here, so he has to just tank those shots. And yeah, on the side, the Senegals with throwing axes is just fulfilling the attacking rule. But really just buying more time for the Flock of Dooms, I think. So, yeah, things are brutal for Sir Groot already. So early in battle.
Yeah, the Centaurs are just having a field day throwing axes, living their best life. As long as the Dark Elves want to stay inside, Flock of Dooms will keep knocking down that door until it comes off the hinges.
Wait, the damage value up top doesn't make sense. Sigils only has 100-something gold damage value, but when you look at Malagor, it's like almost 1,000 at this point.
I think that bug's still in the game where the spells just flat out don't count towards it. Because I know army abilities don't. Sword of Corn and the tier 3 Tzeentch army ability don't count. Because even in free-for-all, where damage value is all that counts, tier 3 army ability of Tzeentch doesn't give you any.
Oof.
Yeah, I've seen many a free-for-all lost because a blob was punished by the tier 3 Tzeentch army ability, and it's like, alright dude, you got no damage.
That's tragic.
It really is.
But yeah, right now, it seems like Sigils is just really taking his sweet time. Because Flock of Doom is just going to finish like half the box by itself. And they can't really catch up to Malagor too. He's at 121 speed, and there's nothing to catch up really.
Well, he did catch out one Ungor Spearman herd, but it might not be even a fight he truly wants. The Centaurs of Tzeentch are going to fly in and try and punish that, and the Dark Riders are getting massacred already.
Yeah, that's brutal. Fighting Tentacles with Beastmen infantry support is not what the Dark Riders want to do, and it seems that the Breath Attack just did more friendly fire than actual damage.
Yeah, he was trying to get the
Very
Centaurs
sad
of Tzeentch,
times.
but it barely damaged them. It mostly hit the Harpies. As those guys said, we'll protect you with our lives, Centaurs. And Centaurs were like, okay, I guess. It's not really your job. But this is looking brutal for the Dark Elves. Malekith's landed in to help out a bit, but still his Dark Riders and Harpies are getting eaten alive by these Centaurs of Tzeentch that got two different rear charges in on the formation.
And the Harpies are just not really finding a place to dive in and fight properly. Black Hawk Corsairs can try to fire, but some of them are being compromised. One is straight up terror-routed by the Jabberslave. One is still online, but I think a lot of their line of sight is just simply blocked and can't actually fire. Since I have been looking at them for like 30 seconds and they have not fired a single shot.
Well, the Dark Elf box thoroughly fell apart in the blink of an eye. An entire half of it collapsed, and then the Butchers of Kalkengard and Centaurs ran into the middle and got all of the Black Arc Corsair Hambos. So it is very tough for the Dark Elves right now, and I think this is going to be a pretty quick game one. I don't know how they pull it back from here, as Malekith's the only power point left on the map.
Yeah, and Malekith himself can't just fight through a bunch of Butchers of Kalkengard. Their elite melee stats is just a bit too much there, plus regeneration. And then, of course, you have the throwing axes, just keep chipping away Malekith's HP. That's not going to be pretty for the big hitbox of the dragon. And the Breath Attack from Malekith landed pretty poorly, unfortunately, not doing much damage. Now he's trying to go after Butchers of Kalkengard.
Yeah, the damage value actually says Sir Groot's ahead, but that is fraudulent because all the Flock of Dooms we've noted haven't been counting, which that takes 1,700 damage value off the battlefield. And the Beastmen are running down the Dark Elves that route, while the Dark Elves can't run down the Beastmen that route. So even the damage value, it's like, they aren't getting damage, but they are getting run off the map. So it's just the Beastmen have so much control of what's going on the map right now, and Malekith is just desperately trying to fight back while all of his forces abandon him.
Beastman really is the king of mobility in the current meta right now. Just getting so many new toys from all the DLCs, and it's really hard to just box against them these days. I don't think sitting statically against Beastmen is even viable anymore.
After all the artillery buffs that have come in the last two DLCs and the last couple patches and stuff, I really think artillery needs to come back into the meta because it just stops you from people just kiting out your boxes. Where, like, we saw Alfredino and Berserk yesterday. Alfred's cannon in the Empire-Empire matchup got like 2,700 value. His Vampire Coast mortars did a lot of damage to the Beastmen of Berserk. Like,
yeah,
artillery is there to save you from what just happened to Sir Groot.
but as the Dark Elves, there's not a lot of artillery you can use.
What? Bolt throwers are amazing!
Still feel sad about how the power creep absolutely screwed them over after the Dwarf Bolt throwers got the buff. They're just not there.
The Dwarf Bolt thrower is just better than the Elven ones in every single way, which is hilarious but also sad.
Yeah.
I don't know why they gave
you
Dwarves 8 instead of giving the Elves and Dwarves 8.
You know, it's the DLC. You gotta make the DLC faction good. But in truth, it's probably just because there's too much work for the dev team to work on the High Elves and Dark Elves.
That's
and
fair.
they probably just overlook it. Especially they were probably prioritizing the Medusa back then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a really quick first game there. Usually comes with Beastmen anyways. You either win fast or you lose fast.
Mantis in chat, not a fan of artillery, which makes me sad. Artillery is my favorite unit type.
Speaking like a true Skaven player.
Right? That's one of the reasons I love them. I love catapults. I love cannons of all types. I just like things that go boom. Scrolling over the
Alright, so how
values,
does...
I don't see anything like crazy.
Well, Malagor is definitely crazy. Just Flock of Dooming 2,000 gold damage.
Yeah, I suppose you're right on that. The tight elven formations were not ready for all those birds.
Yeah.
If you think about it thematically, that is kind of funny. Your entire army just got ripped apart by crows.
That is ironic, really. When the Dark Elves have the Crows of Cain on their side.
Cain ain't got nothing on real crows.
Yep. Oh, there's actually a visual thing about Flock of Doom. If you cast it onto like a Dreadsaurian, you'll see oversized crows. Because I think the animation is actually proportional to the unit models. It's pretty funny.
Huh. I've never noticed that.
Yeah. I only noticed that because of one of the tournaments I hosted, somebody started dropping. Oh, it's probably from the last chance tournament for the 8th spot of the Warpstone Cup. I think what happened was Gotrek. Was it Gotrek Starbreaker or was it Pigman? I forgot. Basically, somebody went for a huge blob of Lizardmen with a Dreadsaurian in the middle and fighting against Beastmen and just got absolutely Flock of Doom to death. I think it's Pigman.
Don't blob, kids. Don't blob.
Yep.
Game 2 will be Cathay versus Dwarves. A different feel of a game. There might be 2 boxes instead of 1.
I feel like it's just gonna be a ton of bolt throwers though.
Thinking, yeah, we don't have them limited right now, so I think it's limit 4. I don't remember. I don't remember what the current fruit rules is. I've only ever seen people bring 2.
I haven't read foot rules for a long time. I just turn on unit caps and forget about it. Since unit caps are actually slightly stricter than foot rules at some point.
It's true,
Yeah,
except for unit caps allow for one more single entity than fruit rules do, but otherwise, yeah.
Fair. I mean, it's a pretty easy thing to remember, so I'll say.
It's true.
Yeah, just unit caps usually.
All
Seems
right.
like our players are ready. It's gonna be artillery box versus artillery box, eh?
I'm looking at the
It'll
build
be funny
behind the
if it
blocker. How do we tell them that there's zero artillery?
Have you turned off the blocker?
They're just rushing each other.
And I'm seeing Yembo as well, so...
Why is Yembo
interesting.
here? Come on.
Interesting. I guess he does have execution and Felix can help out healing him. But I'm just confused, honestly. It makes no sense.
I don't know. I don't know how this Greg Cathay build's supposed to do damage. Where's the beef? It's Jade
the double grenades. Just 2.
Yeah, it's Jade Warriors blocking for Jade Lancers, which are blocking for Crowmen, which are blocking for Jade Warriors. Oh wait, everybody's defensive. How are you gonna kill anybody?
Maybe Yembo can do something here. Who knows? Do Cathay Dragons have collision attacks now?
Oh, they might. He also brought Talons of Night.
Yeah, Talons of the Night might work. But yeah, do you want to start with the army builds?
Sure, I'll do the dwarves since
sure.
Cathay is a little more spicy. For the dwarves, we have 5 Midas Blasty charges slightly in the vanguard. Then they'll be backed up by dwarf warriors and longbeards. Some of the dwarf warriors have great weapons. Then we have 5 slayers, 2 dragon slayers. The heroes looks like they were both brought with no abilities, just their raw stat line. And then Thorek Ironbrow on foot with Rune of Wrath and Ruin and Rune of Slowness. It is stat stick dwarves. Just get as many dwarven bodies with high stats on the field as you can and wear down your enemies.
For Grand Cathay, it's just front line of 5 Jade Warriors, 4 Jade Lancers flanking them, and then 4 more Onyx Crowmen. One of them, the Empress Crowmen with their Nangao grenades. Leading the army, Yuanbo, the Jade Dragon. With Jade Shield, Talents of the Night, I guess that's for blob clearing, but yeah, Jade Shield for damage resistance, and the Emperor's Executioner ability for some character sniping power. Also, Dragon's Fang for additional melee attack and damage. Felix providing a bit of healing next to Yuanbo, but that's it. That's it. No specific damage dealing units.
All right.
Just a ton of armor.
This might be genius. Yambo also has Executioner on his Dragon's Fang, so he has this big, like, one-shot ability that we all know and love. But he can also run in there and finish off the double Dragon Slayers if they ever get low by just popping that ability and landing one hit on them. So, like, maybe it's 4D chess.
Maybe, but I don't know how the Cathay army will deal with so many tin cans from the dwarf side.
Maybe it's 4D chess. that's the analysis you're getting out of me. And it's the best
I guess Crowman can trade well into Slayers. Ooh, Yunpo luring out all the explosions.
They just mess him up. They did no damage, but it looked really funny.
It does knock him over for a bit there, and the Crowmen are doing some damage on impact, getting the charge and whatnot. And Circuit really trying hard with his Psycho charging now, I guess. The Jade Warriors do need to start moving up and get into the fights. But oh god, the Onyx Crowman just getting slaughtered. And oh no. What is Felix doing?
I don't know.
Why is he alone?
Felix is fighting Thorkel alone. Yembo is sprinting over. He's coming.
Oh. Felix is just getting hammered, though. I don't know if he can stay there long enough, especially when
there's a Dragon
not
Slayer.
so friendly Slayer coming.
No.
Yep.
Felix, run.
This might be a time for a Talons of the Night, if anything.
Yeah, it's coming in.
And yeah.
Well,
that might be it. But,
Jade Lancers are charging around on the sides, getting good damage onto the Slayers and minus the blasting charges. Felix is trying to get saved as the Onyx Crowmen dive in, as there's a Talons of Night onto Slayers and Dwarf Warriors. Yambo is doing his best to do a little bit, but Felix is still getting chased by those single entities. He is going to have a tough time staying alive.
I think he just have a tough time staying anywhere at this rate.
Yeah.
His HP bar is immediately evaporated by the double Slayer. And there goes Yuanbo's healing. He's completely shattered.
Oof.
The rest of the Psycho charging is also not going too great for Cathay as well. As their hammer, the Jade Warriors are slowly worn down. Some of the Onyx Crowman is already fading away as well. And there's just too many dwarf bodies, I'm afraid. A little bit of grenades from the Nurgle grenades are doing some damage, but yeah, things are looking quite brutal so far for the Grand Cathay army. Balance of power is fairly even though, so maybe they can still pull off something to win the game.
Maybe, like, it's technically possible. Segos is up quite a bit in damage value, and it definitely looks like it, as the Cathay front line has taken a lot of damage. They lost their hero, and then their cavalry isn't, like, fresh. 3 of them are at half HP. So I can see where the damage is and why the damage value is that high. I don't know why the balance of power is so even. That's the thing that is confusing me.
Probably overcounting Yuanbo's power, I suppose. And the cavalry are still quite intact, plus the Emperor's Crowman. I believe they still have 1 volley of grenades left. Let me just check. Yeah, they still have 1 volley of grenade. Maybe they can pull off something here, but I am not sure how Grand Cathay can deal with so many Slayers in the late game. That is going to be rough.
Well, Yambo is coming in, getting his little green breath attack down. Beautiful animations there. And the Onyx Crowman with Jade Lancers still, I mean, it is still dwarves. If you can pick off any of them leadership-wise, you can run them all the way off the map. Oh,
yeah, sir, group.
Look at that! Look at that Talons of Night target. I really hope he casts it there. There's like 6 units standing on top of each other.
Oh yeah, but I don't know if they have the Winds of Magic or the cooldown to cast it. The cooldown should be fine, but they probably just don't have the magic to cast it right now.
Why not? He cast
really
it once. I guess we're only 4 minutes into the game. Fine. Ooh, Nurgle grenades messing up those Slayers though.
Yep, that is definitely key here. And more Psycho charging from the Jade Lancers. Unfortunately, they're charging into Brace Dwarf Warriors with armor and charge defense, so they're not doing much damage on impact. Plus, they lack armor piercing in general. The Dwarfs will have to just really dig in and try to grind this out, as Grand Cathay is really picking off units bit by bit, just chasing off everything routed on the Dwarf side.
Jade Lancer's still trying to pick off anybody that's out of the formation. Nice little sandwich here with the Onyx Crowmen to catch Dwarf Warriors, even if they braced, which they did not. And I will say, these Onyx Crowmen do a lot of damage on the charge. So, hope is not lost yet, as Cathay actually does take a lead on the balance of power, and they've really stabilized the bleeding on the damage value.
Yeah, it seems like the Dwarfs are catching up. No, sorry, Grand Cathay is indeed catching up. Now, they just need to really psycho charge down the Dwarf Warriors, who are quite low in HP and are prone to routing. And maybe utilize the terror from Yuanbo here to get some miners routed as well. That would be very key. Ooh, there are some blasting charges at the back there. So if they can pick those off, and they might be able to prevent further damage to the Empress Crowmen or the other Crowmen in the future.
Joke's on you, all these dwarves are ITP and completely fresh because of Thor.
Oh, right, yeah, the Rune of Herfenholm. No. Wait, that's yeah, Rune of Herfenholm, yeah, that is it.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to get the terror routes out. I will say, Yuanbo still has Talons of Night. I wish he had Flock of Doom, because we saw what Flock of Doom could do to a pile of infantry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Although Rune of Herfenholm isn't exactly a map-wide ability, so some of the units, if they're straying a little too far away from Thoric, they might lose their ITP here. Like the miners.
Like
they're actually,
miners.
yeah.
Alright, good charge in from the Jade Lancers. And Groot is doing really well to scrap back in this game. He's been cycle charging effectively, picking off a lot of extra units. And Hazel is in here with me. Hello, Hazel.
What's Hazel's thought about the state of the game right now? Does she think that Sir Groot still have a chance to pull it back?
Oh, Sir Groot definitely can win. Hazel believes in him because he has birds, and she's like, birds are interesting. Even if they're weird construct demon birds.
And there's also a big floaty snake boy in the skies. Yeah, but right now Sir Groot is really doing some patient psycho charging, just really hammering into the dwarf formations, trying hard to pick them off bit by bit, but still it seems like Sigos is once ahead, gaining a bit more damage value and getting even more and more of a lead in terms of just damage value in general. Balance of power is ever so slightly in Cathay's favor though.
Yeah.
Not sure what kind of Kool-Aid it's on.
I don't know where Sir Groot's Winds of Magic have been going, but we've seen one Talons all game. And I know, he's maybe trying to hold it so that Segos doesn't just dodge it, but, eventually you're going to have to use those Winds of Magic, my guy.
I think right now would be a good chance to drop it. Just throw some Jade Lancers in and pin down the Dwarf box and drop those Talons of the Night, and that would be a juicy blob. Because all these Dwarves are so densely packed right now. That even if they start moving, it's going to be hard for them to get out of the spell damage area.
Talons cost 30 Winds of Magic. Undercast, it's 18. Overcast, it's 25. So yeah, it does cost a lot. He's only cast one so far, and I don't even know if that one was overcast because it did such pathetic damage that I suspect it was undercast. You don't think you can cast in Dragon Form? I think Talons is one of the spells you can cast while in Dragon Form.
Yeah, he can cast Talons. If you hover your mouse over, you can see it's on his unit card right now. But yeah, it looks like it's just going to be Psycho Charging after Psycho Charging right now. Those Talons of the Night really need to be cast right now.
Yeah, he's gotta do something about it, because raw Psycho Charging is not really working. His Jade Lancers are slowly attritioning out every charge.
Even the Crowmen are taking damage. Sometimes when Thoric drops a Rune of Raffle and Ruin.
What does Overcast on Talons do? Just more damage. Ooh, Segos did overextend with some Dwarf Warriors, though, and Yuanbo actually does have pretty good collision attacks, as he takes maybe an eighth of their HP on one charge. Dwarf Warriors are trying to get back to their formation. As the Crowmen try and dive them. There's a lot of Dwarven flags here, but the Slayers are so damaged that they're kind of inconsequential. So I'm trying to, look for actual units on the ground. One of the Dragon Slayers gets caught up by Chroman, but it looks like if Yumbo doesn't dive over there or deal anything, it's not like that Slayer's going to die to Chroman.
Yeah, and Dragon Slayers are super cheap anyways. Without any abilities other than Deathblow, that's like what, 500 something gold.
Yeah.
So they are just like a cheap bodyguard for killing single entities right now.
One Slayer is way out of position. I imagine Sir Groot's going to go pounce on it right now. It's a healthy Slayer too. That's going to be a big loss for Segos.
Oh, these Slayers are absolutely away from their protection. Yep, I think they are pretty much going to be gone.
The entire Dwarf force is trying to come back to meet up with them, but they're not going to get here in time.
Yeah, everything just diving on that one Slayer. Maybe some of their unit models will survive and reconvene with the rest of the Dwarf formation, but they're going to take so much damage, they're not going to matter in like 2 minutes.
It just gets swarmed.
Yep.
They went from
That
like
was
2/3
brutal.
HP to pretty much dead. They have 19 models, but 800 total HP, so they're dead.
Yeah, they just don't have the armor, man. They just don't have the armor. But yeah, I do think Sir Groot might need to take a little bit more proactive actions in this kind of late stage instead of just standing around.
Yeah. I mean, taking a full Dwarven, like, Hero Hammer / melee blob, you have no agency. You can't stop Cathay from cycle charging you like this, and that is one of the problems with taking this type of build.
Maybe before we just need to save up their cooldown for a Rune of Slowness. Maybe pin down Yuanbo so that the two other Slayer heroes can jump in and hack them. Yeah.
This obeys the attacking rules. Yeah, Cathay has been just, like, charging with different things. There's usually something coming in as the others go out.
Yep.
Is usually how they're doing it. And again, the Dwarves bought no ranged. So I more have put this state of play on the Dwarves than Cathay, where it's like, what do you want Cathay to do? They they just have to AFK, run into this blob and die? No. Their opponent didn't bring anything to stop them.
Also a very nice dodge from the Onyx Crowman, though. Right before they charge in, they got hit by a Rune of Slowness, but Sir Groot immediately held them back instead of diving in with the Crowman, despite them having an attack order already. So the Crowman, despite being hit by a Rune of Slowness, did not get stuck in melee combat and still staying safe and intact. But we do have to patiently wait for them to just slowly cycle charge, which is going to take some time.
It's going to take some time. I'm really wondering why Sir Groot hasn't thrown any Talons of Night.
I think he might just rely on the impact damage at this point. The collision damage is doing a lot of work against even the Longbeards.
I guess. But why bring Talons if you're not going to use it? And, like, the only other spell he has is Jade Shield, which I guess might help him fight the Slayers later on, but it's only 4 wins of magic. You barely need any wins for it. It's not like that's going to be a long duel. It's going to end quickly one way or the other, because Felix is dead.
I think he's probably saving it up for Jade Shield dueling the Slayer heroes, perhaps? Because there's not much the Cathay build can do against the Slayer heroes.
Yeah.
These single entities are going to be rough, and he might just have to use Yuanbo in his infantry form, in his foot character form, to 1v3 all these dwarf heroes and Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That might be rough.
This is an advertisement for Conquest mode? It can be, but it also is, it is what I've been talking about, where, like, this is a viable strategy on Conquest where they could just be sitting on the point, but it's like, you're weighing two different things where it's like, do you really want to reward someone for taking pure melee and Hero Hammer, or, yes, it makes a bad game, but should you be punished for taking an entire army of one type? So it's kind of like how you want to weigh things.
Yeah, at this point, if this was on Conquest mode, the Dwarfs would have already won. But then again, they are pretty much just infantry spamming. It can go similar to with other factions as well, especially the Undead. Just spam infantry, sit on the point until you get enough tickets to win, which isn't exactly the most interactive way to play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it depends. I think the reason I'm so frustrated about the Talons of Night is he is just trying to use his collision attacks, which is efficient, but I'm like, I mean, the Talons of Night would end this a lot faster.
Is this the Talons of the Night? It seems that it might be coming in.
It looks like he's getting Rune of Slowness in the middle of 3 Slayer heroes, though. That's going to be a lot of damage onto Yembo, I imagine, unless he transforms and Jade shields himself or something.
Yeah, that's probably why he cast the Talons of the Night, just to knock around the characters a bit.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, it does knock him down. It doesn't deal damage, but it does knock him down. And the Dwarven infantry are just about out of HP, honestly. It is really just the 3 heroes of the Dwarves left, because these Slayers, 44 HP, 25 HP, 76 on another one, so 3 of these Dwarven flags could be deleted and you wouldn't even know the difference.
Yeah, the Slayers are 4 unit models left. Yeah, 4 unit models, 1 unit model, another 4 unit models. It's just pretty much 2 Slayers with more than single-digit models on the field.
Yeah, and Yembo actually finds Thoric without his Dragon Slayers. Never mind, the Dragon Slayers are right there, and Yembo is technically a dragon, so...
It's very thematic, really.
Run.
And also, Yembo in his dragon form still struggles to hit foot characters, I think.
Yeah,
Collision damage is good and all, but just the attack animation, the hurt box of it, just doesn't land properly, which is a problem.
So at this point, Cathay has more health on the field besides the single entities, like their Jade Lancers and Ice Chroming can pretty easily clean up the rest of these guys. And that's another Talons of Night just as the charge comes in from the Jade Lancers. It is still going to catch some of the Dwarves. Decent dodge attempt, but it catches some of them. And Yembo, like we said, he has Executioner. Maybe that'll help him in the late game versus all these guys. We'll have to see.
Not really. He is just stuck in the middle of a bunch of Dragon Slayers, so that... Oof, wow, so much damage onto him already, just from a few seconds of hits.
Yeah.
Things are still rough for Cathay. It's not completely out either side yet. They can still win, but yeah.
Dwarfs.
We only have 5 more minutes left. Do we have a time limit, or is it unlimited?
It's unlimited.
Okay. We can chill then.
Yeah, this is going to end one way or the other, because after you run out of random things to kill, you have to deal with single entities, and every time Yembo charges in, the Dragon Slayers are going to hit him in the mouth.
The good thing about Grand Cathay is that they still have a lot of Crowmen left. And some Jade Warriors hidden all the way on the other side of the map. Maybe they can come back and help. But,
yeah, those are pretty damaged Jade Warriors over there. Oh, those other ones are healthy.
Yeah, they're just hiding behind in the trees.
Yeah.
But Yunbo in his infantry form, if Felix is still alive, might have a good chance against the double Dragon Slayers and Thoric, but without healing, I don't know.
There go the Dwarf Warriors. A Slayer with 7 HP is still in it.
1 model, right?
Yep. 1 model.
Valiant Dwarves. And the Jade Lancers, the Jade Lancers are slowly running out of health as well, since every time they charge in, they get counter punch and take damage and all that. No more Nurgle grenades though, so not much block punishing tools for Cathay, other than the collision attacks and Talons of the Night.
I like that Human Boy channels a different voice inside his head that co-caster them every day. Every day?
No, that's just like typical Queek behavior, you know. Different voices in the head. We're just skulls hanging on the top of your trophy stand behind your back, yeah.
Dwarfs have just been getting slowly dwindled down by cycle charging. It's just miserable. Please, either ban dwarves, or if you play dwarves, take some range. Because pure melee blobs are just so awful to watch.
Yumbo has collision attacks? Yeah, I think all the Cathay Dragons have collision attacks, no?
Yeah, he's gotten 300 kills, so he honestly must.
Like, every time he charges in, he knocks down a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
And do damage on the collision as well.
Both the Dragon Slayers just hit him, though.
Let me just check patch 5.1 and... I think they added collision attacks. with the dragons?
Not sure. We have a Dwarf Warrior that's almost going to route. Slayers. We lost the 7 health Slayer. Now we have 53 total Slayer models with 2,500 HP between them all.
It's all about the single entities at this point, and seems like Dwarves have the upper hand now as they slowly wear down those Grand Cathay cycle charging units.
Yembo goes human form. I wonder what he intends to do.
Is it gonna matter? That's the real question here.
I don't think so. I think Sir Groot's just lining up a final charge to just, like, decide this once and for all, because I think he realizes he's kind of doomed. Those 3 single entities are way too powerful for what he brought.
Yeah. Again, if Felix is around, maybe with healing he'll have something to help Yuanbo with, and maybe have a chance to win the fight. But without that, Yuanbo is pretty much doomed at this point, even if he executes Thoric somehow.
Yeah. Dwarves are a trash faction. I agree. Dwarves could be spun off from Warhammer forever and become a tower defense game. Yeah.
No, it's just like an auto battler at this point. Bring a bunch of dwarves, sit there, and win. Not necessarily, but still. They're like the minimal micro faction.
I think dwarves are like maybe the only faction that most people would be happy if they were D tier. Where it's like, alright, just make this faction suck.
Yeah, after all these years of getting abused by dwarf boxes, I feel that.
Yeah. I don't know why they thought Thoric needed to exist. He's just such a bad design. Perfect Vigor, actually better than Perfect Vigor. ITP AoE, and he's a spellcaster on a roster that's not supposed to have spellcasters. He's an armor-piercing duelist as well, and he's pretty cheap.
Yeah. Especially with those attack buffs as well, giving dwarves even more damage.
Yeah.
When they already have so much damage in range. And yeah, it seems like this might be the final engagement here. All the crowmen are diving in and absolutely getting wrecked by the Slayers.
Yeah, they just got murdered. And now there's really nothing left for Grand Cathay. He even popped his execution on Thoric just to get a little bit of damage out.
But that's not even close to get Thoric down to the executioner threshold, so yeah, the single entities will prevail this time with a lot of solid dwarf support. Well, maybe if Yuanbo can get close to Thoric, he can put a hit in there, but
maybe. Rune of Wrath and Ruin comes out, hits some Crowmen, but honestly did more damage to these poor Slayers. And that is really it. The last Grand Cathay charge did take out all of the infantry support for the dwarves. Dragon's Fang is out for Yuanbo. He's going to try and kill Thoric. Jade Shield's out too to give him more buffs.
And he fails to land a hit.
He fails to land a hit. The other Dragon Slayer actually left, so I don't think Segos is paying attention to the fact that one of his Dragon Slayers left the fight. Probably knows this is already over as Yuanbo takes a hit in the back. Army losses is closing in, and Yuanbo can't hit Thoric because Thoric is running around in circles. And apparently that's enough to dodge out from Yuanbo. Apparently.
Well, a small hit from Yuanbo landed, but at this point, Army losses is just gonna kick Grand Cathay off the map. God damn.
Yeah. Two very not fun factions, ladies and gentlemen.
I think that's it for the boring factions, right? Right?
No, one of them is playing dwarves later.
Oh, no. Alright, yeah. Oh.
It's dwarves versus lizardmen next.
Alright. What's the damage value on these units?
Slayers.
Surprisingly minimal. Yeah, it's Slayers, yeah.
Slayers got most of it. Not the Dragon Slayers, like actual Slayers.
Yeah.
Dragon Slayers both paid for themselves though, so I guess that's pretty fine.
They're really dirt cheap. And having really good AP and all that, the attack stats and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Very solid choice. I imagine if they have the... I forgot what the name of the ability is, but the extra anti-large ability that gives them additional attack and weapon strength when nearby unit causes terror. That would make them even better against Yuanbo's dragon form. Yeah. But obviously that's not necessary in this in this battle exactly. Yeah, losing Felix was really brutal in the early game there, since Yuanbo could have healed a lot if given the chance, but not this time. Not this time.
Yeah, Cathay, if they hadn't lost Felix, judging by how close that game ended up being in the end, it's like, oh, okay, if you have Felix to anti-infantry fight next to Yunbo with support and healing him up, that could have been a win, but he got picked off like right away. And then from there, Sigurd's plan was kind of messed up. And also, he didn't know what build he was walking into, but when it's pure melee dwarves and hero hammer, if he had any archers at all that he could have kited with, that would have been a very different game. But when it was pure melee versus pure melee, just down to cycle charging, it was really tough for him to do too much.
Yeah. Grand Cathay simply can't outgrind the dwarves in melee.
Not a lot of factions can.
Yeah, not a lot of factions can. I guess Vampire counts with healing can, but then again, if dwarves are fighting Vampire counts, they probably have a bunch of missiles ready to just burn down the undead.
None of the Grand Cathay archers can kite out dwarves too slow. Well, if you're peeling for them, you'll be fine. Because, like, what if he had, let's say, like one Jade Warrior crossbow or something in that late game? As the dwarves walk towards it, they're just getting cycle charged by Jade Lancers that are physically pushing them back, so they couldn't catch it. It's not just raw speed versus raw speed. Slayers would pressure a range line. Yeah, but you saw what happened, like, remember that 2/3 health Slayer that got separated from the main force and Surgur dove on it and immediately killed it? That's kind of what you need the ranged nits for, is to punish the dwarves for sticking together. Whereas with just pure cycle charging, the dwarves could stay together without much issue. But again, he didn't know what he would be facing, because if the dwarves go shooting and you go shooting, the dwarves will win that versus Cathay. So it's tough.
And yeah, seems like absolutely both throwers will kill boxes. It's just too many models, man. Too many models on that thing. But yeah, this time we have Lizardmen versus Dwarves. So we're one more Dawi battle, but this time we have a slightly faster pacing with the Lizardmen on the other side.
Also, the
Trying
dwarves
to rush
brought
them
a
down.
lot of ranged. 5 Trollhammer torpedoes.
Oh, that is going to be brutal to pretty much any dinos, even for the flying Ripper projectiles.
Ryder, I know about the blocker. I know, I already got it. Alright, what did I do last time? I did dwarves last time, so you have to do these dwarves.
Oh no. Also, Phoenix King asked me to threaten you into doing a dating sim stream. You got any new ideas, new titles that you're looking into?
I don't have any new ones. Personally, like, everybody liked the anime tanks one, but I really liked dating Colonel Sanders. That was actually really funny.
That sounds brilliant.
It was the KFC dating sim that was free on Steam.
Oh, that's also officially made by KFC, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Anyways, let's just do the army build here, yeah?
That's
I'll
fine.
start with the dwarfs first. Front line of dwarf warriors. Second line of 5 iron drakes with trollhammer torpedoes and more slayers. Let's hope they're less grindy this time. And a single giant slayer with a couple more miners. One of them with blasting charges, one of them without. I guess Sir Grit simply ran out of money at that point. Thoric Ironbrow leading the army with Rune of Wrath and Ruin, Rune of Negation, and Rune of Doom. Sir Grit really does have his back up against the wall right now, since Sigos is 2 up against him. So he needs to win this to stay in the best of 5.
For the Lizardmen on the other side, Battle Z popping into the chat. What up, dude? You missed a brilliant, fantastic, heart-pumping game of Dwarves versus Cathay. But anyway, on the side of Lizardmen, we have a Skink Cohort and Skink Cohort Javelin front line, Skink Skirmishers in the back, Ripperdactyls all over the dang place for their armor piercing, and then a Life Slan with Regrowth, Earthblood, and Banishment. Some Feral Cold ones in the backfield as well. I really like the Dwarven build much more than the Lizardmen one here. I think the Dwarves are probably going to win.
I don't know. I think the Lizardman actually has a pretty good chance because there are not a lot of defenders for the dwarf backline to deal with all these projectiles, and you do have a cohort of Soltech in the trees, ready to just pounce into the backline. And there's no good units to counteract them on the dwarf left flank right now. I think the Lizardman might have this. As much as I want to have more games in the best of 5, I think the Lizardman might got this. I might be wrong, of course, but yeah.
All of these units for Lizardmen got nerfed recently, and the Trollhammer torpedoes do fire damage, so the Slann is going to have a harder time healing up what he wants to if they're getting shot by Trollhammers. I think if the Trollhammers just shoot Ripperdactyl Riders, then they'll win the game, probably.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I don't know, though, because their formation is a bit spread out, and again, there's just not a lot of defenders for these range assets. A lot of gaps in the front line as well, just trying to go for the width instead of securing the back line. So
it's true. It's not like you have a bunch of blasting charges that can kill the skinks. You have one.
Yeah. The blasting charges are on the right flank, which gets me worried a bit. Because the Court of Soltech is coming in from the Dwarf's left flank. Sure, there's another unit of requested skinks on the Dwarf's right flank, but I think the bigger threat is really the unbreakable Court of Soltech. Yeah.
I'm being pinged.
Anyway.
Oh, okay. Just make sure it wasn't about this series.
Well, it looks like the Iron Drakes are already firing at the Feral Coal ones, but it's just a dirt cheap unit, so it shouldn't be too bad. That does put the Dwarves a little bit ahead in the balance of power, ever so slightly ahead, and a whopping 98 gold value damage lead.
Yeah.
The Lizards are... Yeah?
I wonder if the Trollhammer should just be shooting at the skinks that are currently in range just for the free damage value rather than wandering around, because, like, you can get kited if your Trollhammers aren't going to counterfire the skinks.
Yeah, especially when the blow darts are going into the Slayers, who have their backs turned to the wrong side. So their whirling access missile block chance ain't gonna work against the blow darts.
Indeed. Trollhammers get a little bit of poke under the red-crested skinks, which I think, again, with 5 of them, you do just want to start counterfiring these skirmishers that are hurting your Slayers so badly. But...
Oh, it looks like they're doing a lot of good damage now.
Yeah, we have one Trollhammer that isn't counterfiring for some reason. It just got orders onto the Feral Coldens, though. But yeah, these guys are really, really good at counterfiring the skink skirmishers, even though they're kind of meant to be anti-large. Trollhammer torpedoes are just so good. Ooh! Banishment on the clustered up ones, but they'll be okay. Yep. Their model count's
Disruption,
nice and low.
though, just shutting down their firepower. Ooh, that damage on that single volley. Knocked out a quarter of HP from the Ripperdactyls, but the Ripperdactyls immediately dive down, and the skinks are just flooding into the back line due to how spread out the Dwarf Warriors are. And a lot of these Trollhammers are simply compromised. Yeah. Slayers are in the mix, so maybe they can help out, but there's too many Ripperdactyls right now, I'm afraid.
The Trollhammers do need to focus up on the Ripperdactyls. Wherever they land, Slayers are trying to catch them, so the Ripperdactyls are already taking a ton of damage. Like I said, they are on fire, so even if they're trying to get a regrowth, they do usually take reduced healing, as one Ripper is already retreating away from the battle.
Yeah, and that leaves 2 units of Trollhammer torpedoes free to resecure themselves and fire out, which is very nice for the Dwarves. But I am worried how the Dwarves can resecure the rest of the Trollhammer torpedoes, because 2 isn't going to be enough to win them the entire game, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, one of them are almost routing, but they're also firing in and shooting at some Ripperdactyl riders.
But Dwarves are master of attrition, though, because these Trollhammers, unless you, like, literally kill them, they'll rally. Their leadership is so high that, like, I've had ones come back at 1 model, 10 HP. So they're pretty much unbreakable, unless you chase them all the way off the map.
The thing is, the Dwarves don't have the mobility advantage to secure any routed units. So if the Trollhammer torpedoes are slightly out of position and are routing, the Skink skirmishers can just jump on them and route them off.
True, but he is having a really rough time killing off the Trollhammers once and for all, because anywhere he lands, Slayers just jump on him.
That is true. That is true. But
All these,
the Dwarven front line is... Sorry, you go.
I was just saying, all these Rippers sitting on top of Slayers trying to kill the Trollhammers while they're taking so much damage.
Yeah, things are quite rough for the Ripper projectiles for sure. But honestly, their only mission really is just to shut down the Trollhammers long enough for the Skinks to come in, I think. Since the Dwarf Warriors are too slow to catch up, their legs are too short to catch up with the Skinks. Wait, that run of Wrath and Ruin just blasted their own miners more than the enemy lizards, I'm afraid.
I think it did way more damage to the Red Crested Skinks. The flag wasn't centered, but it did.
Yeah, didn't notice the Red Crested, yep.
Yeah.
They're right there.
Are those Giant
That's
Slayers?
fair.
Yep. Giant Slayers trying to catch these Ripperdactyls. How are the Rippers doing? So we had 4, right? 2 routed. 1 is decent on HP. Another one's really low and trying to get away for now. Okay.
Yeah, so 2 survives, and there are some more Court of Sotek coming in. They're still very much healthy, and I don't think there's much threat against them right now on the field from the Dwarf side. And some regrouped Clever Girls are jumping onto the Iron Drakes, and that Iron Drake will be shut down for now as well.
Well, here's the thing. There's always threat on the Red Crested Skinks because they're low armor, and
Oh, that is true.
we have Rune of Wrath and Ruin, so on a
That is true. I forgot to
2-minute
account for that.
cooldown, they're going to take a lot of damage.
Let's see what's gonna happen here. A little bit of a banishment in the center of the Dwarf formation. Just annihilates the Feral Cold ones. Maybe it's the
Yeah.
Slayers, but still.
It's going through the Slayers. Dwarven spell resistance, plus it is kind of going away from the center of their formation, is going to keep the Dwarves pretty healthy through this. Trollhammer torpedoes can tank through that banishment without much issue. And despite chat and you praising Lizardmen, my prediction so far seems to be standing as Sir Groot is ahead on damage value and the balance power is still 50-50.
Fair.
I think the Trollhammers are nuts, and I don't believe in Skinks nearly as much as all of you people seem to, because where are your precious Skinks now? Oh, they're all dead! That's crazy!
Never underestimate the power of Skinks and healing. I mean, not really Skinks, but the power of healing, I suppose.
I'll underestimate Skinks all day. I hate those little guys. They've failed me so many times. Every time I try to learn Lizardmen, I grab Skinks and I'm like, well, these suck.
Yeah, they just don't have the leadership or stats, or they don't really have anything, actually, to keep them in a fight.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems like the Court of Sotek is being slowly worn down by the sheer amount of bodies. And, yeah. The Ripperdactyl Riders do have to just make sure they rout off all the routed dwarves.
Where's that Ripper's flag?
And that's another Rune of Raffler and Ruin blasting some Skink skirmishers. Balance of power is in favor of Lizardmen now. Sure, the dwarves are ahead of damage value, but the power of healing keeps the Lizardmen in the fight, really.
Yeah, I do have to remind you that there is a fraudulent amount of balance of power sitting on top of a floating chariot, doing nothing. And if it gets down to a late game of Thoric versus that, Thoric will win.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But at least this time we don't have double Dragon Slayers, so maybe it will be less of an attrition. Who knows?
Maybe. How are we doing on Trollhammers for the Dwarves? They have one model, sorry, not one model, one unit still alive. And they just got rear charged by Skink Skirmishers. They might rout or die. They are dead. Alright,
Okay,
it's
might
Thoric
be-
and some warriors versus a Slan and a single healthy Ripperdactyl?
Okay, just from a sheer attrition angle, actually the dwarves might have a good chance, actually. Simply because the Lizardman now lacks actual units to kill the dwarves. Or at least kill so many dwarf bodies and then finish off Thoric. Wait, has Thoric been fixed yet? I forgot to check the
He
patch
swings
notes
now,
about.
yeah, he swings.
Okay. Yeah, he should... Wait, the blow darts are actually doing a bit... It's tickling him a bit. Yeah.
It's tickling him a bit. Who has the superior mobility scooter? Definitely Thoric, but I am a little worried. I'll admit that. I'm a little worried for the dwarves because there's those Ripperdactyls that can still do a lot of damage, and most of the Slayers have been attritioned out. It's just some dwarf
The blow
warriors.
darts is just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Lizardmen might have it from this point, because there's just no agency left for the dwarf build. So we're going to see the Grand Cathay versus dwarves part again. Much shorter this time, because the dwarves are already very injured. But he'll just be kited and cycle charged. The only difference is, as you said, he doesn't have those 2 Dragon Slayers to threaten the fight. So it will be just Thoric, who is better than a Slann in melee, but, I mean, with Ripperdactyls and Chaff, he should be able to get dragged down.
Oh, here comes the fight of mobility scooter.
Go,
Slann is going in.
Go, Slann, go! Go, Slann, go!
The Slann does have a very thick HP pull, even after the HP nerf, so he can eat some damage.
Yeah.
Though I'm not sure why he's in there at all.
I think he's trying to bait because he has a full health bar to use, so he's just going to heal up any damage he takes, and he wants the dwarves to turn their backs so the skinks get a rear charge.
That is a fair point, though he is now backing off right now. Rune of Doom is activated. Oh, there's 4 models of Iron Drake still firing.
Yeah, they're doing their best. Dude, I told you pretty much have to kill them. They don't retreat from
Yeah, that's
anything.
true.
Speaking of killing them, Ripperdactyls charge in, Ripperdactyls charge out.
A quick Earthblood as well, just keeping them topped up, though they were on fire, so... Not actually killing any models of Troll Hammers, though. Still on 4 models of these guys.
Still on 4. And look at that one that rallied in the distance. 8 models next to the Elven Gate.
Oh, I see them now.
Yeah, Troll Hammers are nuts. I've been a Troll Hammer stand for forever.
To be fair, they are indeed Iron Breakers, so it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a problem of cycle charging now. The Dwarf Warriors some of them are standing a little bit too far away from Thoric and quickly routed off by just a bunch of Ripperdactyls diving onto them. And a regrowth on the Ripperdactyls. Really upgraded regrowth on an almost heal capped Ripperdactyls. This Slann is really just dumping everything he has to keep those Ripperdactyls alive.
I guess, I mean, he's half HP, he could maybe use it, but I wonder if it's like, well, what's the point of healing my Slann right now? Ripperdactyls can at least use it for a bit. And now everything besides Thoric is routing. So we get to the dire late game situation for the dwarves of 2 Ripperdactyls going to probably trade off cycle charging Thoric on top of skink support. I would bet on the Lizardmen from this point, but I don't think it's certain yet, because if those Rippers die fighting Thoric, which is possible, Thoric can just win. The skinks aren't in great shape. He has Rune of Wrath and Ruin every so often to support himself. And then he can beat the Slann.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that is if he can kill off all the Ripperdactyls somehow. So it's not completely out for the dwarves, but it's gonna be rough for sure. It's gonna be rough. Blow darts though are not doing anything to Thoric.
And they're running
Heavily
out of
armored,
ammo.
physical resistance, and missile resistance. He is just and ward save from the Rune of Negation.
So
he's just immune to blow darts.
He has 40% resistance constantly from physical and missile resistance, and now he has 80% because of the 40% ward save.
Yep. That is just making him immune to blow darts and actually helping out the dwarfs in terms of balance of power, since any ammo use is balance of power lost to the Lizardmen. Not that it matters right now, but yeah.
All right, Lizardmen going for a big attempt onto Thoric. Don't believe he
Even
has
the mobility.
I don't think he has Rune of Wrath and Ruin up because he just used that negation, which puts your runes in general on cooldown.
Yep, and he has been taking quite a bit of damage from the Ripperdactyls. Just need a few more cycle charging and he's probably dead.
Probably.
His leadership is not doing too hot here right now.
Yeah, he's getting nice and low. In comes the Rune of Wrath and Ruin. The Ripperdactyls try and dodge it. Don't really, but it mostly hurt the skinks, not them as much.
The problem really is the Ripperdactyl cycle charging, which Thoric is really struggling to handle right now.
Yeah, you just can't get any good shots in onto them. It looks like Dwarves are just going to FF. That'll be a 3-0 to Segos.
And that shall be the end of the best of 5, right?
That's the end of the best of 5.
Yeah.
That is, in fact, 3-0. Dwarves did not prevail. My prediction was wrong. It was close, though.
It was close. The Iron Drakes did do some pretty good work here, though they're just too much mobility from the Lizardmen side. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So here's the thing. I need to check something real quick. We have a second best of 5 between Sipa and Stingers, who are both elf mains. So you're probably going to get more elves than dwarves. But let me just expand my blocker and check on something. There are no more dwarves today. I had to check the replays.
Thanks, Bob.
There are no more dwarves today. It's over. The suffering is done.
Oh.
Okay.
Right.
So both players sent me the replays. It looks like I saved Sipa's version, so I'll put Sipa on the left side of the scoreboard, and we'll get going here. Segos advances. I will say, I did do predictions for 1 through 8 strength in our top 8, and I did put Segos at 3rd. So I'm not exactly shocked he beat Sir Groot. I'm a little surprised it was a 3-0. Mentally, I was kind of predicting a 3-1, but it happens. You did see that he's a very good player, and however you feel about like the entertainment values of the games that were provided, in games 1 and 3, he did put on a clinic of proper unit positioning, cycle charging, knowing what units need to take what engagements. It was beautiful. Game 2, yeah, he took a degenerate dwarven blob and stood around and won by stats. That'll happen, but you did get to see a bit of why he's a good player, even if it's not the like flashiest, sexiest gameplay you've seen. He is a really good player.
The thing is, this is like a proper high-stake tournament, so it is absolutely fair for any participants to bring out legal builds that, despite how degenerate they are very effective in winning the game. Stuff is on the prizes are on the line, so yeah, it's only fair for them to play this. If this is like a meme tournament, then yeah, it's a bit too sweaty. But this is definitely a tournament where you are not holding back at all, not for fun, but for proper victory.
Yeah.
So
okay,
do you want to load into the first replay between Sipa and Stingers? Yeah.
Yep. So I did
yeah.
Yesterday with Tequila Sunset, we had set up just get to 5 seconds in the replay and then hit pause.
Yeah, I'm on 2 seconds, so I'm just gonna give it another 3.
Yeah, because sometimes when it loads in, you're already a couple seconds in, so it's like, all right, 5 is nice and safe. We'll get there and hit pause.
Yeah. I'm on 5 seconds, so just give me a count of 3 and then I'll be ready.
Boop. All right. Well, judging by the massive Vanguard Nurgle here,
God,
we should probably do the builds while still paused.
I am still paused. Yes, we definitely should. You want to do the Bretonnians?
Sure. That's not game 1. What?
Actually, you know what? I can do the Bretonnians. You can go around the map as you do the Nurgle build. Cause wait, no, shit.
Yeah,
did I not? Okay, I thought I got the wrong replay. I think I got the right one. Yep.
Bretonnia Nurgle?
Yeah, Bretonnia and Nurgle. First battle, yeah.
Alright, yep.
Yeah, I'll do the Bretonnian formation since they're more bunched up and easier for you to navigate it. Alright, so for Bretonnians, front line of Peasant Mobs, second line of Spearmen at Arms, third line of Peasant Bows. I don't think... Oh, some of them will fire arrows, but most of them are just regular arrows. And then further back, a ton of mobility, Mounted Yeoman, and Knights of the Realm, plus a single Grail Knight, supported by a Damsel sitting in the tree line. In the skies, a little bit of flying mobility. Actually, quite a bit of flying mobility here.
They had two
Royal Pegasus Knights. Haven't seen these guys in a while. Supported by Albrecht de Bordeloo with his anti-large buff. Yep, the Braid of Bordeloo. That's it for the Bretonnians, I believe. And yeah, Human Boy, you should go through the Nurgle army then.
I'm not a believer in Royal Pegasus Knights, but I know a lot of like super top tier players have been saying that they're really strong, so I'll take their word for it. I don't play Bretonnia, and I am not a super high level player. Like, I'm good, but not this level of good, so it's like, okay, well, if you know something I don't, then fine. For Nurgle,
I think it's just, yep, sure. Go ahead.
What? No,
Oh,
no,
I was
it's your
supposed-
turn. You talk. Why don't you just take over the stream? Jesus.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would just do that. But yeah, anyways, I just want to say something about the Royal Pegasus. I feel like just Royal Hippogriffs are overpriced, and Royal Pegasus Knights might actually be worth it sometimes. Yeah. I mean, overhyped, not overpriced. Sorry. Anyways,
Low HP pool makes me sad. For Nurgle, Mass Vanguard, we have 4 Pestigores in the trees, 1 still in the trees, but behind the Bretonnian formation. Furies on the north side, just surrounding them there. And for a hero core, it looks like we have a Chaos Sorcerer Lord on his Rot Beast for some armor piercing, with just Fleshy Abundance and Stream of Corruption. Then we have a Cultist of Nurgle with his various debuffs. And we have an Exalted Hero of Nurgle with just Heroic Killing Blow, plus the Rotting Riders, ROR Rot Knights. This is a very strange Mass Vanguard Nurgle build, and I'm curious how it'll go. I am not... Well, I want to doubt it, but then I look at this Bretonnian line, and it's like, well, your archers are all about to die instantaneously, and then it'll just be Grail Knights getting souped down in Nurgle, so maybe? Maybe. Ready to go?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Ah! Yeah.
Seems like some of the Nurgle Furies are a little too closely deployed to the Bretonnian formation, getting shot a bit by the arrows, but otherwise the Bretonnians are just shifting away from the forest, probably expecting some Vanguard shenanigans already.
Royal Pegasus Knights, despite having 5 less speed, charge bonus is a hell of a drug, and they are going to rear charge the Chaos Furies of Nurgle, who are just trying to fly away.
They are indeed trying hard to fly away, but Pegasus Knights, yeah, they still struggle to catch up with the Nurgle Furies.
Yeah, Seepa's not going to overchase, though. He does want to get back to his formation and not get isolated out. Ooh, Furies are just diving straight in onto archers already. I am worried that the rest of the Nurgle army isn't here to punish this, so you are just going to lose the Furies for this effort.
Yeah, that's one thing I am a bit worried about the Nurgle Vanguard, is that they are just engaging kind of prematurely. Doing a lot of damage to the archers, but eventually they'll come back if there's nothing else to chase them down.
And your Furies are more expensive. I hate when people just throw away Furies or Harpies or Feldats, where it's like, that's 400 or 500 or 600 gold. Like, don't just YOLO it. Come on.
And YOLO they did. Although some of the Pestigores are in the mix alongside the Rotting Riders and the Hero Core. So yeah, there's that.
This flank is much more supported. That other one, I don't know, that Fury probably shouldn't have taken that fight, as other Furies are also taking fights that they probably shouldn't.
They're gonna dive in, isn't it?
Yeah, they're gonna dive in.
Diving in onto all the archers and the Pegasus Knights. Nope, they're backing off now.
And this cavalry model that took so much damage is just a mounted yeoman. Even though it looks the same as a Grail Knight, it is not a Grail Knight. So unfortunately, you're trading a mounted yeoman and some peasants for, so far, 3 Chaos Furies, which is 1,800 gold worth.
Oh no, the Nurgle Furies on the other side, they try to back off, but because only a few models got stuck in the fight, they constantly try to go back into the fight. And they got dragged into the fight, and there goes the Furies. Oof. Big loss for the Nurgle army. Pestigores, though, are making some good progress, punching through one side of the Bretonnian formation. But the rest of the Bretonnian formation kind of just reformed on the other side of the battlefield.
Well, this is what Stingers was going for. On the far side, Grail Knights are getting chased down by the Rotting Riders. Rotting Riders, superior speed now that they've poisoned the Grail Knights. And the Hero Core is also here. If these Grail Knights die, that is actually going to even the game up by quite a lot. The Grail Knights are most of the carry potential of this Bretonnian force.
Yeah, absolutely. Though the Mounted Yeomans are trying to sacrifice themselves and distract the Rotting Riders.
Yeah, that's a good
Royal
sacrifice.
Pegasus Knights are coming in. Ooh, Royal Pegasus Knights are coming in. Albrecht is also coming in. Things might be a bit dicey for Nurgle once the units are all coming back into the fight. Grail Knights getting a regrowth as well, almost back to full health.
Do we have a fleshy abundance for the Rotting Riders or not? That could
I don't think it
determine a lot.
matters. I honestly don't think it matters.
Maybe. I mean, you have 3 combat heroes of Nurgle here, so if the Rotting Riders hold on, they could turn this around. The Royal Pegasus Knights have already lost half HP. The Grail Knights have lost a quarter of their HP after getting regrowth.
Ooh, is this a fleshy abundance or is this an Earth Blood?
It's a Fleshy Abundance Overcast, but it is too late. The Rotting Riders already routed, and it looks like they might even shatter while getting healed, and that would be a bit of a disaster for Stingers here.
Yeah, for how elite they are, they don't really have that much tankiness.
Yeah.
That is tragic.
That is tragic, I agree. Now, Grail Knights are surrounding the Hero Core with Alberic helping out, and without the Rotting Riders to buffer, now each individual Nurgle model is fighting like a 10v1, and that's just going to get so much harder for him to stay alive.
On top of that, Mounted Yeoman just stayed on top of the Rotting Riders, and that will make sure they're never coming back. So, yeah, brutal loss for Nurgle for sure.
Nah, the Mounted Yeomen are going to tear her out away from him. Wait, why is Alberic getting left alone?
Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay.
Alberic,
This might be
no!
Nurgle's chance. This might be Nurgle's chance. Oh, no, never mind. Knights of the Realm are coming in, so...
Yeah, it was just funny that, like, Alberic's like, guys, why'd you all leave me? Is anything else going on the map? I guess Pestigors are taking the fight to a bunch of random peasants, but that's not going to decide this game at all.
Yeah, it's really about Alberic and the Grail Cavalry, which... Nurgle simply don't have the resources to work them down right now.
Yeah,
even
Grail
if they try
Knights,
to, it has a regrowth.
Grail Knights still have another half a health bar they can get from healing.
Oof.
Can.
Oh no, the Chaos Sorcerer Lord is stuck in the middle of a bunch of Knights of the Realm.
Yeah,
Everything is isolated now.
He's decently armored, and he has his own crown of Dominion, but you're right. The Hero Core is just getting slowly picked apart by taking a bunch of individual fights without Rotting Rider support or Pestigor support or anything, but not there's too much they could do. The Mass Vanguard play was interesting, but the Furies are just so fragile that if you make mistakes with them, they're going to instantly die, and we saw that as all the Furies died in like the first minute and a half of combat.
Yeah, and without the Furies in the late game, they just don't have anything to shut down Peasant Bows. Not that it matters, but yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, the Nurgle build don't have much to deal with the Grail Cavalry this time. Damn, even the Royal Pegasus Knights survived and got a lot of damage in.
Yeah, all 4 of the Heavy Knights got a lot of damage out. For Stingers, his Hero Core struggled. The Rotting Riders also struggled. Pestigors didn't have much to do. They were just fighting peasants before they got cycle charged. But pretty decisive game 1 here.
Yeah, how would you play against Bretonnia as the Nurgle army, actually?
Honestly, with the Kugath, not with the Kugath, with the Fury buffs that have been over the last several patches, I wonder if you could just go Kugath and then Suicide Dive Archers with your Furies. And then without Archers, Kugath can just carry.
That is fair. That is fair.
Like, I wonder... Because Soul Grinders are still pretty bad, in my opinion. Soul Grinders and Nurgle are not great right now.
Yeah, with Kugath's firepower, the Furies probably can deal with the Archers, and then Kugath can either just literally throw shit at the Grail Cavalry, or just sit there and drain them away with Mortis Engine.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, next battle, I suppose.
Yeah. High Elves Kislev.
That's gonna be... Yep. I am watching it from Sepa's side. Yep, that's fine.
I sent you the same replays I have, so...
Okay, cool. Perfect.
I sent you them from Stingers and Sepa, and I'm like, I don't know, I figured it out. Here's a pile of replays. Alright, 5 seconds. 2, 3, 4...
I'm still loading in, so give me a second. Or maybe give me 5 seconds, I mean.
That is the correct amount of time.
Alright, I am on 5 seconds as well. Let's do the army builds, yeah?
Yeah, Kislev versus Stingers. Stingers pulling out his High Elves, which are his main. He continues to vex me by taking Teclis, no matter how many times I tell him Teclis is bad. But he is taking Lion Chariots and then War Lions of Krace, so he's still my hero. Still love watching Stingers play High Elves because he makes the Lions look good, and usually they suck. So that makes me happy. You know what? I'm gonna take the High Elf build because he's my hero. So for Stingers, best High Elf player in the whole world, besides Black Knight, because Black Knight is a Giga Chad. We have the Fireborn, War Lions of Krace, Lion Chariots of Krace, and then some Illyrian Reavers. White Lion, front line. It's all lions all day for him. We have the Towns of Torquelada, a couple Archers with Light Armor. We do have Teclis. Teclis brought Flock of Doom, best spell in the whole world. Regrowth and Net of Amnatok. We'll see what he's going to do about that. I guess he's taking the Lion Chariots because Kislev will have some armored infantry for him to deal with. So, yeah, all right. Unique High Elf build. Interesting take on how to beat Kislev.
White Lions are definitely the coolest looking High Elf unit in my opinion. I just love the Lion's pelt and their combination of axe and whatnot. Like, reminds me of reminds me of the Elden Ring boss. But anyways, for the Kislev build here, a front line of armored Corsairs, one of them the Watchmen of the Night. The others are just pistol and regular weapons, armored Corsairs. Behind them, the things in the woods, some solid AP anti-infantry bonus, and on the right flank, 2 units of heavy war sleds, providing very good anti-infantry power and also a bunch of AP missiles. Right in front of them is Cathay on her ice sled. As for the rest of the army build, a ton of Kosovo dervishes with bows. Actually, just horse archers. But yeah, technically they are just Kosovo dervishes with bows. But yeah, Kislevite horse archers, providing some skirmishing firepower and a sticky mobility to harass back lines. That's it for the Kislev army build. Actually, Cathay also have Death Frost as her only spell. And yeah, that's it for the army builds. Shall we begin?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, go! With Teclis's net, though, the heavy war sleds could be in trouble. As they try to cycle charge through infantry, they could just get netted in the middle of those White Lions of Krace and take actually a lot of damage.
Yeah, but they do have 110 armor, so that might help them out a bit. Illyrian Reavers are pushing up, but they're now kited away by the horse archers, and Cathay is just diving in with the 6-worded war sled, ice sled.
She's just frostbiting them, so they can't get away, and the heavy war sleds are going to shoot them in the back with their long rifles as they try and run. And the Illyrian Reavers are already routing at half HP, which is weird to see for a high elf unit. You don't usually see them rout like ever.
Bear's too scary. Bear's too scary.
It's true. The frontline fight is engaged. The Watchmen of the Night actually get a battle with White Lions of Krace, which you don't see the Watchmen of the Night actually get melee fights much. For some reason, they always get kited. I don't know how that happens, but I've never seen them take an engagement at above half HP.
Oh, and the things in the woods plus the armored Corsairs might be a brutal combo for the White Lions. They're already taking a ton of damage. The one on the left, half health already from that one charge.
But the Fireborn and the Archers and the Lion Chariots charging in, this Kislev center is actually taking so much damage. The High Elves are very happy with how the center is going.
Yeah, but the flank, not so much. The war sleds are going in.
Yeah, the War Sleds and the Tsarina Chariot bodied the Lions of Krace all on their own. Teclis probably needs to throw some kind of net to slow down these guys. For the Fireborn, oh, this could be huge. He really needs the net, though. Fireborn could kill one of these very expensive heavy war sleds. There comes a net, and those guys are doomed. I would be shocked if they escaped this net alive.
I feel like the better net option might have been Cathay, just to kill off their leadership, but war sleds is a good pick for sure. Look at how quickly their HP just drops.
Yep.
Straight up bodied by those Fireborn.
Yep, if the Fireborn are nearby, any net is an instant kill on one of those heavy war sleds. Down to 2 models out of 4 already, and by the time the net has worn off, but I still don't think they're going to get away. When their Buyer Blood runs out, they will probably just shatter from how much damage they've taken that quickly. Their leadership surely won't survive.
Fireborn is indeed taking some damage from all the pistols and handguns, though, so their HP is dropping a bit, but Regrowth should fix that promptly.
Regrowth says, "You what, mate? you thought I was in danger? You're in danger."
Call the police, but not for me. Call the ambulance, but not for me. But yeah. Horse archers trying to run down some archers.
Dude, even without a net, the other war sled's already dead as well. The Fireborn taking care of it. Au natural.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Now, Cathay is still freely rampaging around the battlefield, so that might be a problem.
Well, you gotta think the next net's gonna be for her, as long as the Fireborn are healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
How's the Lion Chariot doing? 400 damage
wait.
value, getting torn apart by things in the woods. That tracks. That tracks for a Lion Chariot.
Rip. Problem with Teclis, though, he has activated the Potion of Sharoi, which gives him damage resistance and healing, but also add cooldown to his abilities. So we don't know if he can actually get a net out in time, because his leadership is dropping pretty fast.
Yeah, Catherine's little archer ladies are firing at him constantly, and he's frostbitten, so he's just stuck fighting her, while bear sleds are going to hit him in the back. You're right, Teclis is in a lot of trouble. I'm surprised the Fireborn aren't coming over here and peeling for him. That is a wide open chariot you could just charge straight into. Stingers!
Yeah.
Stingers, take the Fireborn! Go!
Oh no! Miscast damage from what?
He overcast a Flock of Doom, and the miscast took him out.
No.
Now the Fireborn are coming in, but that is a disastrous misplay from the High Elves.
That was not worth it. That was. Oh, and Death Frost is gonna finish him off. Yep. There goes the spellcaster. Balance of power is in favor of Kislev now, as the rest of the High Elf army just fell apart pretty hard. They just don't have enough mobile assets to deal with the Kislev mobility and missiles.
Yeah. Teclis did not use his spells particularly well there. He should have used the net onto Cathay and used the Fireborn to just kill her off, but instead overcast the Flock of Doom, which just killed himself. That was pretty unfortunate right there. I don't know what the Hives are going to do at this point, because the Fireborn should never get onto Cathay. She should be able to just kite them out with her Frostbite missiles, and they'll just get whittled down without healing.
Yeah, and there's only so much infantry left for High Elves. They can't really grind through all the rest of the Kislev units, especially when there's still a bunch of AP missiles left on the field.
Yeah, the cute little Lion Chariots of Christ doing their best, man. They're just out here having a good time. Getting 400 damage value despite constantly cycle charging through armored infantry.
The Lion Chariots are coming back, but I don't think Lions beat Bears in this one. Especially not when the Bears are just poking them with bullets.
I don't... Okay, wait, no, we need to analyze that sentence. I don't think Lions beat Bears, especially when Bears are poking them with bullets. Dude, how many things do you know that can beat a bear with a gun? Is this a common thing for you? You're like, oh, a bear with a gun? I could take it. I can handle it.
Maybe some kind of Kislevite can. I mean, how else are they gonna get the bear with a gun fighting for them, right?
Yeah, you gotta beat him into submission somehow. Another Death Frost out onto the Fireborn just to poke him down a little bit. Cathay is out of ammunition, so at some point she might have to engage, but like the Fireborn are so tattered, I doubt they could even beat her at this point. Especially with
just a Death Frost and just Death Frost and Horse Archers shooting at them is probably gonna be enough to put the High Elves into army losses at this point.
A bear with 2 guns. Yes, that could beat a bear with a gun. Anyway, Armored Kossars taking the fight to last the White Lions. I'm honestly surprised the balance of power is this favorable to the High Elves, which if you look at the balance of power bar, you would see what a ridiculous statement that is. But I thought it was army losses a while ago. Full health Cathay on her sled versus almost dead Fireborn. The game's like, I don't know, maybe.
In a vacuum, the Fireborn could probably still beat Cathay on her sled simply because she's out of missiles and on her sled she has a really big hitbox to get surrounded and cut down. But there's just too much stuff for Kislev. And High Elves couldn't fight through all that.
Damn. Look at the Fireborn. A crisp 3,100 value flat.
Beautiful number. Unfortunately, still not able to carry the game here. But yeah, I think the Flock of Doom really cost Stingers the game here. If that was a net, probably they could have just straight up killed Cathay there.
Yeah, his Fireborn had to peel back from... I think they were fighting like Armored Kossars nearby, but they just needed to run over and save Teclis.
Yeah.
Save him.
Like
Save
if
the boy.
Teclis was alive, then yeah, I think the Hiles had it. But yeah, appreciate the Lions picks though. Really love to see the White Lions on the field and War Lions as well. Haven't seen a Lion Chariot for ages as well.
Well, Stingers is mad. Immediately picks up Kislev. Is like, fine, I can use an OP faction too. And that's actually a funny mirror. So we had Stingers on his main, High Elves versus Kislev, and now we have Sipa on his main, Dark Elves versus Kislev. So both guys just trying to go with comfort to fight Kislev.
Kislev is indeed one of the best factions out there. Probably the best faction out there, so that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, let's load in.
Yeah. I'm at 5 seconds. Did I do Kislev last time, or did you? You did Kislev.
I think I did Kislev. Yeah, I did Kislev.
Okay.
But yeah, speaking about fighting Kislev with the comfort factions, I can't do that. I main ogres. Kislev beat the hell out of ogres.
Yeah, I tried that once. That didn't go well for me at all. Turns out 500 gold unbreakable halberds are a bit of a problem.
Yeah. I was thinking about new builds to perhaps beat Kislev at some point, but I still have yet to test out that build. But yeah, shall we start with the army builds, or are you still waiting to get to that 5-second mount?
I'm good. I'm at 5 seconds.
Moment.
We have
all right, cool.
4 horse archers for Kislev, a heavy war sled, Patriarch, haven't seen him in a while, with just his heal, Ice Witch of Tempest on a Frostworm mount for extra HP, only brought Blizzard and her leopard summon. Bunch of armored Kossars in the front line, and there's our first Griffin Legion and Winged Lancers of the playoffs. For some reason, we had Alfredino and Berserk both pick Kislev, and neither of them brought Glorious Charge Cavalry. And then one Kislevite Warrior. Pretty mixed build here from Stingers. I'm a little worried it lacks DPS. I don't know where the damage comes from, but I've been surprised before.
I feel like the army here with Stingers is kind of all over the place. Like, just having a bit of everything, but never committing into one element. I am not quite sure what his approach in this battle is. Yeah. Probably would be great to see more Griffin Legion, but yeah, it's an interesting one. For the Dark Elves then, yeah? Mixture of Dread Spears and Bleak Swords in the front line as per usual. That's like 90% of the Dark Elf builds anyways. Dark Shards behind them, 5 whole units providing a ton of AP fire to deal with the armored cavalry and armored infantry, armored sleds, basically armored everything on the Kislevite side, and a ton of mobility Dark Riders with shields and Koan Knights mixed in together. 4 units of each, or is it 3 units of Dark Riders? 3 units of Dark Riders, 4 units of Koan Knights leading the army. A single Shadow Sorceress with Malkoff's Mystifying Miasma, a brilliant spell to deal with any cavalry and infantry. And yeah, that's it for army builds.
Yeah, I usually never take Smoke and Mirrors, the Lore of Shadows passive, but when you're fighting Kislev, who's going to be frostbiting you a lot, I actually don't hate it. Just get some of your speed back and try and catch up to those units that are trying to kite you.
Yeah, Kislev is definitely the more mobile faction anyway, so might as well just get the extra speed and give a little bit more pressure onto their mobility.
All right, ready to go?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, let's do it.
Alrighty.
Horse Archer's going to have a tough time skirmishing with Dark Shards. Dark Shards should have superior range. No, the Horse Archers have more range.
Horse Archers. But they are getting too close to the Dark Shards anyway, so they might get hit by one volley. Nope, it seems like they got out in time. So they just keep skirmishing.
Shooting at Silver Shielded chaff is pretty whatever. I'm sure the Dark Elves are fine with it.
Not that they have a lot of other targets to shoot at, maybe the Dark Shards, but then again, they might risk exposing themselves to the Dark Shard fire, so it is whatever target they can get, I suppose.
Well, Kislev's going to skirmish for a little bit. As the Dark Elves just push up, eventually Kislev will run out of places to hide.
And the Koan Knights are also moving up to pressure the Horse Archers. This might be a time for the War Sleds to start poking, but then again, they don't want to stay too close to the Dark Shards.
Yeah.
Sipa really doing a good job here, keeping those units together. The Core Knights are driving up ahead to pressure the mobility, while there are still Dark Shards to protect them from the War Sled's firepower.
One Dark Shard did get into range of the Horse Archers on one flank, and a single volley takes off about a quarter of their HP.
Yeah, you never want to skirmish against foot missiles as a mobile skirmisher.
The Ice Witch is
bigger
in.
models. Oh wow, that is a commitment for sure. But there also is a countercharge from the Koan Knights. That might be a lethal mistake here.
She does have Blizzard. It could
that's true.
could potentially be a bait. Yeah, it is. He's just trying to get as many units clustered up as possible to hit him with the Blizzard. And now he's charging in with the Skirmish Cav to try and hold them in place so they can't run away from the Blizzard. That's actually really cool. That's
Very gutsy move here, but most of the Dark Shards are out of the range, unfortunately.
Yeah, kills a whole Dread Spear, does a lot of damage to a Cold One Knight. Overall, I think that's a good trade.
Not necessarily, as more Cold One Knights are in, and the Kislev cavalry are kind of stuck, unable to get out.
Oh, those are Griffin Legion. I thought that was all Skirmish Cav, and I'm like, yeah, trading 2.5 Skirmish Cav for a whole Cold One Knight and a Dread Spear is pretty good.
Let's have a look at the rest of the battlefield there. Horse Archers diving into the backline, shutting down Dark Shards. Some of the Quan Knights are reacting and trying to secure the missiles. But the Kislev infantry push is on, beating back all the Bleak Swords and Dread Spears.
Yeah, with heavy War Sled support, the Kislev front line is actually doing really, really well. Heavy War Sled's about to roll through some Dark Shards as well. Their own Horse Archers will probably block like the biggest, meatiest part of the charge, but it still should be pretty good. Yeah, it's a good charge.
Yeah. The Ice Witch, though, is a bit stuck in a bunch of Koan cavalry, so that might be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, she is fighting back pretty well for now, as long as the Dark Shards can get taken care of, which looks like we have some Horse Archers doing that. But if she kills off the Cold Knight, she'll be okay. Bleak Swords and Dark Riders can't do that much damage to her, and in come the Bear Sleds to offer a little bit more support as well.
Oh, the Griffin Legion has been eliminated, though, by the Malkov, so there goes a very important mobility unit for Kislev. And all they have left are some Winged Lances. No, I don't think the Winged Lances are even round.
Patriarch gets in with the heal, heals up the Bear Sleds and the Ice Witch, though there's a lot of Cold One Knights, and the Heavy War Sled's definitely overcommitted. They're now just stuck in heavy armor-piercing cavalry, and they're getting chipped down. Even with the healing and the Ice Witch support, there's not too much they can do.
The infantry are just simply too far out to help. They need a Blizzard, like, now, to just pin down enemy cavalry and infantry and allow the War Sleds to extract, but yeah, wow, the War Sleds are going after the next Koan cavalry. That is very gutsy of them.
Yeah, Dark Shards are getting to shoot in as well, so the Ice Witch, even after getting a Patriarch heal, is still pretty darn damaged. And elsewhere, Kislev's infantry is starting to run a little bit out of steam as the Dark Elves just throw body after body at them while shooting with Dark Shards.
Yeah. There's one Armored Corsairs on the far side going after the Dark Shards, but yeah, as you said, there's just too many bodies on the field, and they're stuck behind a bunch of Dark Elves, unable to get to the Dark Shards.
That Ice Worm just, like, sand surfed through the Dark Shards. Did, like, a little bit of damage, but mostly just looked cool.
Do they do collision damage? They don't? Or...
He does a little bit, yeah. But the Heavy War Sled gets surrounded again by Cold One Knights and taken out, so... Soon this lady will be all on her own. Looks like the Patriarch's trying to get over to her. Maybe his next Celiax is off cooldown.
Malkov's onto the Frostworm, just really trying to work down the HP off the Ice Witch.
Yeah, and Sipa does dodge most of that Blizzard with his Dark Shards. Cold One Knight's going to take a little bit of damage, but the Dark Shards got to safety. And they're actually just going to turn and fire through the Blizzard at the big dragon.
No, they're turning and walking through.
Okay, he tried to shoot, but line of sight things made him walk into it, so lucky stuff there for Stingers. Does eventually get the Dark Shards anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, this is pretty rough for the Stingers at this point. It's just the Ice Witch and the Patriarch being healthy and some tattered infantry laying all across the battlefield.
Yeah, I don't know. Even if the Lord and Hero can win this fight over here against the super wounded Golden Knights and then kill off the Bleak Sword, you're still going to have this other pocket of Dark Elf strength to deal with, and those Dark Shards alone might be too much of a problem. How many heals do we have left? 1, yeah. So there's not like that much health left for the Frostworm. And if she walks towards those dark shards, they're just going to shoot her to death.
Yeah, and the rest of the infantry are also being shot to death as well. Late game missiles is really tough to deal with. Everything that just walks towards them will just get shot to pieces. And
Army losses is procced only by our blood, keeping Kislev in the game. That's a 3-0, dude. And I will say, I am so far correct on predictions.
not the Dwarfs and the Lizardmen.
No, not that. Sorry, but like, I said Alfred first, Berserk second.
Fights, yeah.
And Alfred beat Berserk. I said Tim 5th and Gentle Rat 7th. Tim beat Gentle Rat. Sego's 3rd and Sir Groot 6th. Sego's 1. And then I did Sippa 4th and Stinger's 8th. And Sippa 1.
That's fair. That's fair.
So far, my power rankings are perfect.
And when will be the next Best of Fives then? I assume it's gonna be one stream between Alfredino and Tim, plus Sigos versus Sipa. Oh. Huh.
It's so we'll be on Total War Official with Alfred, Tim, Sego, Sipa, and then I have a couple show matches I'm trying to line up of just like little filler while the finalists do their pick and ban, so we don't have to sit there in a lobby and wait. And then we'll do that. So the stream will be 3 best of 5s and a couple little fun matches I have lined up.
Nice, nice. When is it gonna be? I actually forgot to check the date.
July 20th, next Saturday.
All right, everyone, be there, or you risk getting blasted by a bunch of Giselles from afar.
It's true. We got assassins everywhere. Dude, Alfred, Tim, Segos, Sipa. If my predictions continue to be correct, it'll be Alfred win, Segos win, and then the finals Alfred wins. And then the 3rd place matchup, it would be Sipa beating Tim. I gotta say though, in Tim's match versus the Gentle Rat, he did look much more on form than when I made my original predictions. Because when I was making my predictions, the last replay I saw from him was kind of shaky. So I think the 3rd place match in that theoretical world between Sipa and Tim would be super close. But I do think Sipa, Segos, and Tim are all very, very close, and I do still have Alfred as a bit of a lead. But I think any of those 3 could beat any of those 3. I think.
Yeah, that is fair. I am not as familiar with the players as you, so I am just gonna follow your predictions here. Or maybe I can send some Warpstone bribes and hopefully and get them and manipulate the matches a little bit. And yeah. Not that there's any of a betting pool for me to win it from anyway, so but yeah.
Yeah. You guys
definitely some very solid matchups.
You ready for Sego, Sipa, Dwarf Mirror, then Cathay Mirror, then Kislev Mirror on the bottom bracket? Because they both play the same exact factions. Sipa is a well-known Empire and Dwarf main. It's recorded history. It's fact.
Sipa and Sigos does. I think they do play against each other quite a bit.
Yeah.
Wait, does Sipa as a clan?
No. Sipa's in VOD.
Ah, okay. All right, yeah, you have it right on the stream.
Yeah, dude. No, for anybody who doesn't know, that was a joke. Sipa hates Empire, just despises them. I think they'll probably be his global ban with Segos, which sucks because that means Kislev and Dwarves are getting through, but Sipa can't stand them.
Honestly, in this economy, I mean this meta, absolutely fair. Absolutely fair.
Empire's a good global ban. It's between Empire, Kislev, and Dwarves. I wish I had 3 global bans every time I play. I'm just like, oh, can we just not with any of those 3 factions?
I think Empire used to be just the Swiss Knight faction, can do a little bit of everything. And then they're not now a Swiss knife, but actually a very good Swiss knife, and they can do a bit of everything. and they do them good,
Yeah.
which makes them awkward to deal with.
That's definitely my problem, is everybody complains about the land ship and the steam tank, but, like, they're super toxic for sure. 100% agree. But then there's the Hawkland long rifles, which are really, really strong. Carl Franz, Boris, Gelt, and Elspeth are all strong for different reasons, so you're prepping for 4 different things. It's like, am I going to get leadership bombed by Boris, or am I going to get super spirit leech kited by Elspeth, or am I going to get final trans and plague of rusted by Gelt? It's like crazy. Knights of the Black Rose are pretty much unbreakable. Empire State Troops are the most underrated thing in the world. For 300 gold, those spearmen are making my storm vermin look like chumps. It's just, the whole faction just fills me with rage. I hate them.
Even after the Storm Vermin buffs?
Yeah, Storm Vermin buffs are pretty good. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But still, Empire State Troops are just the most cost-effective things in the world. They're insane.
Especially when you rank them up. I don't know if anyone still do this, but yeah, apparently sometimes you can just max upgrade them into triple gold chevrons, and they will be the most cost-efficient infantry you'll ever get. Swordsmen straight up beat dwarf warriors if they're at around the same cost, I think. Like if you buff the swordsmen around to roughly around the same cost as regular dwarf warriors. So that is quite neat.
Yeah, I run rank 9 Empire Halberds into Warriors of Chaos, because for like 750 gold, they can beat Chaos Warriors pretty convincingly, and they can trade up into Chosen.
Oh shit, I did not know that.
Yeah, they're real good.
Oh.
That was an old RTK tech that I stole. But yeah, I think it Big JP might have made it up, or Platypus, but not that Platypus. There was a different RTK had 2 Platypuses. And she hasn't played for a long time, but maybe still for them. Or Felix. I don't remember. It was an RTK tech. I don't remember whose it was. Yeah.
It's actually amazing how long this multiplayer community has sustained itself. It's been what, like, is it like 7 years, 8 years?
Yeah, I joined 5 years ago. So
yeah,
because my channel's been going for 3 years. I watched Turin for 2 before I started my own channel. So
yeah,
that's 5.
Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, you started back in Total War Warhammer 2, right? Yeah,
I started in World War 2. I heard that. I heard when you started there. I've been around forever. No, yeah.
That's definitely forever.
I started Warhammer 2. I think the first DLC I was covering was Torox, I think. No, it had to be before that, because I was already established by the time Torox came out. Because do you remember when the Tuskor chariots could stack inside of each other?
I don't remember, because I don't play meta factions. But oh right, I remember the Tuskor chariots had like a hitbox issue at that point.
Yeah. So them and corpse carts, you could literally pile them inside of each other, and there was a lot of videos at the time of 8 corpse carts killing a Dreadsaurian.
Oh,
just in a unit test, because they were so stacked on each other, the Dreadsaurian like couldn't attack them because he couldn't like figure out what was in front of him, and the corpse carts were just getting free attacks, so that 8 corpse carts just like killed it. It took forever because they still have a weapon strength of like 20, but they killed him.
Absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Anyways.
Okay.
I suppose that's all for today then, yeah?
That's all for today. Yeah. Take care, Mr. Lich. Thanks for casting today.
Thanks for the invitation, really. And I'll see you, everyone will see you on the official Total War channel next week then.
Mm-hmm. You want to do one more promotion before you go? Because we have twice as many people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Check out my channel, and that should be a link pinned on the chat. Basically, I do a bunch of Total Warhammer commentary, shitposts, guides, and a bit of tournament stream as well. If you want more Total War Warhammer multiplayer content, do check out my channel and subscribe. And yeah, that's all for today. And do you want to say goodbye to everyone, Human Boy?
Yeah, I was just gonna do a little bit of a hype thing for next Saturday. So next Saturday, we'll be on Total War Official. I gotta keep working with CA to figure out how that stream's gonna technically work. Like, how do I get on their channel? But they are gonna do some posts about it. So we'll have Alfred versus Tim, and then Segos versus Sipa. I will be curious. I think these players have 4 different styles. Alfred doesn't really main anything anymore. He just mains like winning. So he takes weird factions and weird builds, but makes them work. Tim also mains winning, but he's been playing a lot of Empire. Some Dwarves. I think that's it for his mains, really. Segos used to main Dark Elves. Now I don't know. I don't know what he does. But he definitely plays some of the more degenerate stuff than the others. Like, he's the only one I see taking, like, blobs. And then
I think he spends quite a bit of time on Kislev as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, what I said, degenerate stuff.
Fair. All right.
And then Sipa plays the Elves. Dark Elves plays... why am I blanking on the other things? I mean, I know he plays a bit of Tzeentch, but there's another faction he actually likes that I'm blanking on.
I don't know, Beastmen?
He plays a bit of Beastmen. There's another faction! Coast! He likes Coast. So, yeah, you might see some Coast. You might see some Dark Elves. Lightly armored shooting factions. Should be fun. I'll be co-casting with Battle Z. It'll be a good time. And nothing's going to go wrong, and everything's going to go great.
Absolutely.
Everything's going to go wrong. It's going to be a disaster. All right. Go back.
Did you just counter jinx it? All right, anyways, bye.
Yes, I did counter jinx it. The next level strats.